I nay-nayed so much I didn't even know how to stop. But unfortunately, our guy has an anger management problem. Yes, he does. He was recently indicted for murder in Georgia in connection to his cousin's fatal shooting. Yes. Allegedly, Silento murdered his cousin in the street in DeKalb County in Georgia. This happened in January, and he was picked up and arrested in February. He was charged with 4 felony charges in connection with the shooting. He's only 23 years old, and he allegedly murdered his cousin, 34-year-old Frederick Rooks. Like I said, the shooting happened in January, but here's the thing. He must have some anger management issues because the judge decided to deny his bail, so he's sitting in jail awaiting trial. And in 2020, prior to all of this, I guess maybe in September 2020, prior to him allegedly shooting his cousin in January, he was arrested for domestic violence in California. He was accused of threatening people with a hatchet as he searched for his missing girlfriend. I guess he was going to hatchet her up too. So Silento, he's got anger management issues. He's running around searching for people with hatchets. He's got that case pending out in California. Then he's got the Georgia case with the murders. I don't know what's going on with him. But one of the charges in Georgia is for malice murder. So I think he's got trouble. But his spokesperson said, he's been suffering from mental health issues for a while. Well, I would say so. Let's go on to less janky news. Let's talk about game show news. Now, do we have I wish we had the Jeopardy song. I wish we could find the Jeopardy song. Okay, y'all know the tune. I know everybody remembers Alex Trebek from Jeopardy. Don't we love and miss Alex? Yeah, he died of cancer not too long ago, but they've been on a very big hunt for who's going to replace the very knowledgeable, learned, well-spoken, and well-dressed and manicured man, Alex Trebek. And they came up with Mike Richards, as well as our favorite African player, Kunta Kinte, LeVar Burton. Now I was pushing for LeVar, but I guess the powers that be, the white people in Hollywood, the white people that are in charge for who get jobs in Hollywood, they said, well, we're going to go ahead and let white privilege play in here. And we don't care if LeVar is more talented. And we don't care if LeVar has a squeaky clean background. We're going to go with somebody who's an alleged misogynist and person who's made a lot of bad comments about women in his prior life. They decided to hire Mike Richards to be the new celebrity host of Jeopardy. And if you don't know Mike Richards, he did a stint as the host for The Price is Right. While he was on The Price is Right, ladies and gentlemen, baby, he was very, very sexist. He had complaints filed against him by the women that were on the show. The girls who come out with the prices and stuff like that and tell you exactly how much things cost, like in Hollywood land, because some of those prices are wrong. But anyway, I digress. So he told the women that he wanted them to dress like they were going out to the club on the show. He wanted more body, yaddy, yaddy, more skin, and more all sexy. Then he said he didn't want anybody that was fat, and he was calling people fatty. He was fat shaming women. He also said that he didn't want any pregnant women on the show. Oh, yeah. Mr. I'm the new Alex Trebek basically was a sexist, misogynist, and now that he got the job away from LeVar, the original Kunta Kinte, that's my guy, Kunta, was never going to succumb to Toby. But it looks like they decided to hire the Toby for the job. And in 2013, Mike Richards had a podcast. I don't remember the name of it, but he deleted the entire podcast from the air. Well, guess what? That's where all of his sexist commentary was listed. And one of the ladies named Brandy from The Price is Right, one of the hot girls, decided to sue him. I don't know if anything went with that, but I don't see any live litigation up there. So maybe everything got resolved. But she came back and was like, hey, I cannot even believe that he decided to become the Jeopardy person when he doesn't even like women. He tries to body shame women all the time. He fat shamed her when she was pregnant and didn't want any pregnant women on the show. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, this is what Hollywood is about. What did he do? He came out and he made a statement. That's not the man that I am today. I apologize for my insensitive comments. I'm a husband and I'm a father now, and I'm so sorry. Yes, well, guess what? I appreciate the apology. Is that what the PR people at Jeopardy told you to do? They told you to delete your past podcasts and come out with an apology? How's that sitting well with the fans? I'm talking about, can we just put LeVar Burton, who does not have a scathed history? Because guess what? I will not be watching Jeopardy just because I think that Mike might see me through my television and tell me to stop eating my ice cream while I'm watching him on the air. Bye, Mike Richards. You're canceled. So, Mike, goodbye. We're going to go on to, guess what? Erica Girardi. Y'all know who that is? She's married to Tom Girardi. She's the housewife of Beverly Hills. Platinum blonde that's always stepping out in those 6-inch heels. She always likes to wear the soul case from Christian Louboutin. I like them too, but guess what, baby? Those soul cases are up for sale. Erica Girardi's music career memorabilia was auctioned off by ex-Tom Girardi's law firm amid her legal troubles. People.com reports. Yes, the merchandise. All of that. It's so sexy. Wait, what'd she say? It's so what's to be me? What'd she say? It's not easy to be me. What she said, she's a rich. Whatever her song was, I love the song. But baby, if you want to get that pretty mess neon sign from her office that she closed down on the air like 2 weeks ago, then you might need to you might should buy that at auction.
It's expensive to be me.
It's expensive to be me. Yeah, it's expensive to be you, girl. It's so expensive. You got to sell your stuff. I think, can you look on there real quick, Sherelle? Sherelle's my producer. Sherelle, I want you to see if that sign that says pretty mess in pink neon is up for sale. If it's up for sale, we need to buy it and put it up here at the studio so we can have it in the background. Because see, my background is pink too. And I'm not a pretty mess. I'm a good hot mess. All right. So Erica Girardi, let's talk about your husband. Amid their legal woes, Tom Girardi has decided that he will not testify at his Lion Air hearing. The Lion airplane that crashed and killed all those people, all those victims, where Tom Girardi was the lawyer that was hired to represent the families the survivors of the deadly plane. Nobody survived. How do you say that? He's representing the family of the victims that were killed in the crash. That's how you say it. They got to get the words in order. So he decided to represent them and take all their money, pleading the fifth against self-incrimination or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Somebody who's not pleading the fifth is Jen Shaw. You know her. She's our favorite Asian that's on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the new show that we love because she gave us a whole bunch of cut up in season 1. She was reading those women for filth. And guess what, baby? Every time we saw her getting her hair and nails and makeup done in her house at her chalet in her privileged lifestyle that she's leading, we should have been thinking about those innocent elderly people that she was allegedly scamming during her telemarketing scheme. Yes, Jen Shaw. Jen Shaw is asking the judge to now toss out her criminal case because her contact lenses were dry. Yes. And when it was time for her to, plead or do something she was supposed to do, her contact lenses were in her eye and she did not have on her reading glasses and her vision was blurred. Let me quote you on this dumbness. Quote, "My Miranda rights were abridged and they were not waived." Quote, "My contact lenses, which were in my eyes, were dry and I did not have on my reading glasses, so my vision was blurry and I was unable to read the paper in front of me. As a direct result of law enforcement's deception and trickery calculated to overpower me, this case should be dismissed." Her lawyers also claimed that there were multiple flaws in the theory of her case and the investigation. Jen Shaw says that she was confused by her arrest on March 30th, believing that it might have to do with a 2017 New York case in which she was a victim of theft and assault and had an order of protection against the perpetrator. Quote, "I was at this point very confused and emotionally off balance from the strange series of events and thought I might have been the victim of a false identification." So basically, when the feds were coming to arrest her, when she was coming to get arrested, she thought that they were coming to get her an update about a claim that she had about somebody else. And they were like, "No, boo-boo kitty, these cuffs are for you, hunty." And she said, "Oh my goodness, is this for me?" They were like, "Here's your Miranda rights. Here's the paper. Here's the warrant for your arrest." And she said, "Oh my goodness, my contacts are scratching my eyes and I can't see." And they said, "That's okay. You can see while you're in the back of this police car going on to the jailhouse." And that's what she did. So, She alleges that she had a 1 hour and 20-minute interrogation by the feds or by the detective, and that she didn't really know what was going on, and that she was so confused during the conversation with the detective that it wasn't until the very end that she realized that she was the one that was going to the clinker. She was like, what? I mean, maybe that whole crazy act that she gives us on the Salt Lake City Housewives is real. Maybe she really is, like a little bit extra, and maybe she really didn't realize that the feds were arresting her. I mean, maybe she was confused about being in the back seat of the police vehicle and not riding in the front, or not being told, why don't you ask your husband to accompany you? Because y'all didn't realize Jen Shah's husband is an attorney. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. He is a member of the bar. He's an attorney. He's licensed. He's now the coach up at the University of Utah football, or whatever he coaches. He's coaching up there, but he has a law degree. He has a law license, and he was a lawyer representing people. So, Jen Shah, you can miss me with that lie. That may be working for the detective that was interrogating you for an hour and 20 minutes, but girl, I think that you knew that you were getting arrested. I mean, Jen Shah, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law. You have your right to an attorney. You better go get one and don't say anything. But clearly she ran her mouth a lot. So she's asking the judge to toss that out. I'm not sure if they're going to toss it out. I mean, I don't know. But, Jen Shah, hats off to you, girl. You won't be needing those diamonds and pearls and furs in the clinker if you go. But you might want to put them up for auction if you need to have a GoFundMe page set up for your legal troubles. Speaking of a GoFundMe page, you see how I segued right into that? GoFundMe. Now, usually people have GoFundMes when you have somebody that's ill, you're trying to take up a collection of somebody who's recently passed, and you want to help support the funeral arrangements. But guess what? If you are a certified billionaire with a B, and you have a wife that you are divorcing with a D, and you have children starting with the letter C, then come on, big old daddy billionaire Warbucks, Dr. Dre. Why does your daughter have a GoFundMe page set up? Why? Oh, yes. Dr. Dre's daughter, who has 4 children, which means he's a pawpaw. He has 4 grandchildren. She has put up a GoFundMe page saying her daddy cut her off. I think he cut her off in January. Was it in January? No, it must have been just a couple of months ago. But he cut her off saying, you know what, girl, go get yourself a job. And she said, no, daddy, you got billions and mama's about to take millions. So why don't you just go ahead and give me some cash?
January 2020.
Well, January of 2020, he cut her off. So now she set up a GoFundMe page to shame her daddy. Here's what I have to say about that. Girl, bye. Miss me with that. I refuse to take the side of the daughter with 4 children and say that her daddy should pay for her. Let me tell you something about those 4 baby daddies you got. I don't know if you got 4 baby daddies or if you got a husband. Sherelle, can you please find me the accurate information so I can tell the listening public out there whether or not she's an ex-wife? And if that's the case, then she needs to be getting the money from her ex-husband to pay for her and her 4 children so they're not living on the streets. I do not feel sorry for you, Dr. Dre's daughter, whatever her name is. Now, if you have 4 baby daddies, you better go collect some child support. You better get the attorney general from whatever state that you're in to help collect on the C support. Now, if you're out there putting up a GoFundMe page, which is usually used for people who are in need, miss me with that. Okay? Now, Dr. Dre, you're wrong for that. Now, before you do a cutoff of your children, you might want to set them up just a little bit just to give them some walking papers. Here's where you can go find the man about a car. She said that she was living in her car. And that's why she said her daddy needs to help her out. What I want to know is what happened to the car that her daddy probably bought her when she was living at home. Was that a fancy car? Did you ride out in the engine? Because that was probably the free car. Truth be told, he probably gave her a whole lot of free things that she squandered. Dr. Dre has his reasons. But then again, if Dr. Dre doesn't want to pay the wife that was sleeping with him all those years and gave him some babies and who was probably getting her face knocked up a couple of times, allegedly, then maybe he's not going to give any coins to his daughter. But Dr. Dre, I have to say, the jury's out, my friend, because you might want to take it a little bit easy because you had a stroke recently. And he says that his health is good right now. But after a stroke, everybody's just a little bit changed. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say a prayer for Dr. Dre and his family and hope that everything works out well for his daughter, her 4 children, his ex-wife. I hope she gets the coins. Dr. Dre, you have $1 billion. Give her $100 million. Tell her goodbye and move on. Now, let's talk about somebody else that's in divorce court who's trying to get coins. Now, you have Dr. Dre's wife who got the coins from him. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Kenya Moore. She filed for divorce. Now, I don't know what Kenya... Listen, let me tell you something about Kenya. The jury's out on her. I mean, she reminds me of some woman that I knew decades ago who is one of those climber, and will fake a relationship. And I really honestly feel like this Mark Daly gentleman that Kenya Moore was married to for 4 years. I believe they were married for 4 years, but I believe that they were only like really actually like married like in love for like 6 months. That's really all I saw, because she snuck and got married to him on the beach. She didn't want the housewives cameras around. She needed another storyline. She wanted to have a baby. Remember, because that's when they kicked her off after that. She wasn't on the next season. Then she begged her way back, said, "I'm pregnant. I'll let y'all see my baby on the show." Then she came back to the show. Then Mark Daly was like, I didn't really want to marry you for that. I'm a restaurateur in New York, and I don't really like you that much. And I see all the trash you did on the Housewives. And when he was on the Housewives with her, he shamed her. Yes, he did. He was coming for her at all times. He was nicer to the other housewives and always mean to her on the camera. But guess what? That was payback for all the dog stuff she did to everybody else. Talking about Marlo's edges and bringing those people in with the wigs to Marlo's event. I never got over that. Yes, Kenya Moore. And I remember when Apollo jumped into the swimming pool, picking her up. She's trying to go after that woman, what's her name? The lawyer that was on the Housewives of Atlanta. Phaedra Parks. Phaedra Parks' husband, Kenya Moore went after him. Had no respect for the husband then, but she wanted everybody to respect her husband and her boundaries. Girl, I'm respecting your boundaries and your husband. Kenya Moore, you're just not my cup of tea. I'm more of a Portia, a Nene, a Candy, a Marlo, and a everybody on the show but you kind of girl. Only because you're so mean and nasty. But anyway, Kenya Moore, yeah, you're filing for divorce. Yeah, you probably should have been divorced 4 years ago. Is Mark Daly trying to get your coins? I don't know how many coins you got, but I'm not sure if those movies ever came out, but maybe Portia's husband or fiance can introduce you to somebody new, because y'all like to jump in bed with everybody's everything out there. But anyway, let's go on and talk about Naomi. Can I talk about Naomi Osaka? Okay, you know my producer. Okay, so Naomi Osaka, for those of you who remember our gorgeous, beautiful, I think she's black. She's black and Asian, so she's a perfect combination. So Naomi Osaka's agent called a reporter a bully for making her cry and called his behavior appalling. Now, this is what I like. When the adults in the room stand up for the child, whether or not that child is a multi-cajillionaire, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she's one of the best tennis players in the world. She's still a little girl. She just happens to have millions of dollars. Now, that's the kind of agent that you want. The kind of agent that's going to step to the bullying reporter. Bye, reporter. You're a bully. Do we have that reporter's name? We need to find out who that is. In other news, let's talk about somebody who's been bullying mask wearers across the state of Texas. Yes, I'm talking about our good old Governor Abbott. Yes, he likes to bully us about wearing our mask. He wants to bully us into not wearing our mask. And guess what? The bully got the coronavirus. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Won't God do it? Remember when Malcolm X came home and said he said the chicken's coming home to roost? Well, Governor Abbott, your coronavirus diagnosis is the coronavirus COVID-19 coming home to roost in your veins. Yes, it is. I'm saying that because here's my position. You spent the Arctic freeze of Texas telling us that COVID and all of this wasn't real. But you got a shot, my friend. You got your shot in January. January, as my grandma would say, God rest her soul. You got your shot in January. You want to tell the people in Texas that we're cold, but we're not really that cold because you took us off the main electric grid for the federal government. You took us off the federal heat grid or whatever they call it and caused us to have a Texas freeze because you feel like Texas needed to do it its own way. So we froze to death and all of us had to buy new lawn equipment and new lawn. I had to do new bushes because all my stuff froze and that cost a lot of money. So who would I need to file a claim against that for? But anyway, Governor Abbott, guess what? What I found out about you, boo, is that you get your coronavirus testing every single day because your health is compromised. Yes, you are in a wheelchair for life. So since you're in a wheelchair for life, you have your compromised immune system. Why then would you get the shot and tell everybody that you're not going to have a mask mandate for public school children that are going to school? My daughter's first day of school, shout out to Kendi Sinclair Moore. Her first day of school for the 7th grade was this morning. I took her to school. That's why I'm a little bit shiny today. Didn't have enough time to powder my nose because I have to make sure my daughter looks like a G and mommy can look like a shiny G. But anyway, I'm going to do that right now. But what I have to say about Governor, you running around there telling everybody not to wear a mask. My daughter wore her mask, and everybody around should wear a mask. He gets tested every day, and he got the shot. So if you're running around there acting like COVID virus is not real, maybe you're going to catch it. Maybe you're going to tell me how real it is. I didn't get it because I feel like, at the end of the day, I got my shots like I was supposed to. Whether you got the Moderna, the Pfizer, the Johnson & Johnson, it doesn't matter. Get a shot. They're already talking about the booster shot. And guess what? He got the booster too, y'all. And on that note, I'm going to rough it up because that is a social injustice. How about y'all pay for the booster shot for everybody else in Texas? Texas. Move over, Governor Abbott. You can tell I'm not a fan. The music is back on. Y'all see Governor Abbott with his slick self. He rolled himself right up there and got a booster shot, baby. He rolled his wheelchair up there, got a booster shot, and decided, because he wasn't wearing a mask, and then he caught something, and then got the mask, then said, okay, but I'm still not going to wear my mask because I want everybody to think they're going to get cured. No, everybody else is dying. Everybody else is dying from not wearing a mask, and he wants to keep on killing folks to make sure that people think that he's right, and he's still supporting Trump. Well, Trump is sitting at home watching the news, but Trump, I bet you got a booster the same way he boosted up Melania to get her citizenship papers 5 minutes after he was sworn in, but doesn't want to let the DACA kids get their swearing in. Come on now, you know how they do. That's called white privilege. White privilege at its best, baby. You get the booster shot, you get the shots, but tell everybody else, don't worry, you don't need a shot. Not y'all out there. He doesn't want you to get a shot because he knows that the black and brown people are the people that are not voting for him. The black and brown people and the people that are underserved communities are the ones that are being jaded by the misinformation and the disinformation campaign that's going out there by Governor Abbott and the tropes in the Trump campaign. But you have to make sure you get your shot, get tested. Because guess what? My birthday is next week, and for my birthday gift from all of you listeners out there, I would love it if you could get your shot. If you get your shot, that would be great, because guess what? Those of you who already got your shot, you're coming to my birthday party. Yes, you know who you are. And guess what? Shout out to DJ Def Jam Blaster. He's DJing my party. Shout out to you. But get your shot. I'm not wearing my mask. Neither is Sherelle. Did you get your shot? You got your first shot? See? If you don't have your shot, and you're around somebody who's vaccinated and who doesn't have the virus, she's safe. Look at y'all. Look at God. Won't he do it? Anyway, I got to sign off for this so you can get ready for the next clip. Bye. There you go. They're ready. I didn't even know how to stop.